What are you thinking right now, Jeffrey Wright?
Yeah. Yeah, time to heal the nation, Rich. Bring it together here.
One super team at a time.
Yeah, it's all. I got to laugh a little bit. It's pretty. I do find it pretty funny because, there's all this resentment, there's all this hate, toward the Nets, but there is not an NBA fan anywhere in this country, anywhere in the world, who didn't want KD when free agency came up, who didn't want Kyrie on their team. And now, everybody's whining because, the Nets are coming to town to spank that booty. So, I get it. But everyone wanted, people were floating out starting 5 lineups, speculative lineups with these dudes for every team in the league. So come on, man. It is what it is. And the thing that people, I think, fail to understand is that this didn't just happen with the flip of a switch. What's happened in Brooklyn since the Nets got here is that there's been an evolution of a culture at that organization and on that court, a culture of winning that began to grow and to bloom. And that's what attracted these guys. From the time they hit in 2012 till 2019 when this happened, there's been a vibe created there. Not only a vibe in the arena. No, we don't throw bottles, we don't spit on people. Lately we just bag the W's. That's all we do. But there was a vibe there. There was an attractiveness there, and there was a young core team that had been developed that was really starting to grind, and that's what it was. It was this culture of winning that started to emerge, I think, that was the reason that this was possible. So it didn't just happen overnight.
No, and obviously, again, it's difficult. Certainly in the city from which you're calling right now, from Brooklyn, where it's difficult even for the fans sitting there in the island of Manhattan that did watch their favorite team go out in 5 last night. That team and that arena was not the conduit for the super team to form forces. You're right. The Nets did build something with that arena as well that made it more attractive for those guys to go there and team up. I think it's just people just can't handle the teaming up aspect of it. They just can't.
Yeah, well, but the Knicks fans were dying for those guys to be there, so it's a little bit cynical, but I get it, as I said. But, and I think it starts, too, with the Nets really from the top down. They've got Joe Tsai there now, and obviously deep pockets, But remember, that guy was an athlete at Yale. I don't know him. I've met him a couple times. I don't know him very well. But he was an athlete. He played lacrosse, as I did in college, If you're a collegiate athlete, you want to win, right? So you're establishing that now that he's, gotten control over the team. I have to imagine that falls down from the top. Let's win, just win, baby, Al Davis style, So the culture over at the Knicks organization is not quite as clear, or certainly that hasn't been manifest in the way it has been in Brooklyn. So, they've got a lot going for them. Sean Marks over there has been pulling together some guys, over these past years. And there's obviously a serious eye for talent. You think about the big three. Yes, Kyrie, physicist, KD, his daggers, and Harden, you think about I'll get to Harden in a second. You think about those guys, but the role players this year have really contributed in ways that have been underappreciated. Guys like Tyler Johnson, had to step up at times. Shamet, the way that Claxton has emerged. And Joe Harris, for example, who a few years ago, people were going, Joe who? It's like, oh, his name now, But these guys are playing a huge role in the Nets' success and in getting them through this season when there were some valleys that we dipped into, through injuries and the like. So, this is a larger picture than just these bad dudes, that make up this big three. And frankly, with Harden,
yes,
talk about Harden for a second. when that possibility came up, I have to say, I was like, I don't know, bro. I don't know what's going on down in Houston, and
Right.
the vibe seems, kind of off. Man, I've never been so wrong in my life. That dude is just a visionary, man. He's a visionary on that court, like seeing things into being, like, Magic Johnson style, and his feet, his court generalship, is just singular. The guy's, he's got the body, he's got the skills, but his mind and his vision, are what is really making the difference. And the selfishness that he engenders, selflessness, I should say, that he engenders among all these guys, and all the guys, the way they've been playing. Everybody says it's ego-driven, they're selfish. No, man, they've been playing such generous, beautiful basketball, and they haven't even really hit it yet. But there were pockets during the season where they hit it, and then the Celtics, they started. So I don't know. I don't think people should really complain yet, because wait for it, and then maybe you can complain again. But it's not really on all cylinders even just yet. So everybody can calm down a little.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.